Dogma. We've all met that dogmatic person. That person that truly believes that their culture, their religion, their perspective, their way of life is the only way, is the only truth. And everybody else that's different, that thinks different, that believes different, is wrong, is living a lie. This is dogma. And dogma exists in every single culture, every single religion in some way, shape, or form, and is the root cause of just about all wars, all conflicts, all atrocities committed by humans on other humans throughout history and in the modern world. Dogma is the human tendency to think in tribal mindset, right? Think back to our human development. For much of our way of life, we've lived in tribes. We lived in small groups. And our survival depended on the integrity of our group. And so what occurred was our minds would say, this is my group. We are right. We are living the truth. Everyone else, every other tribe, every other way of being is wrong, is evil. And so this human tendency that is ingrained in our minds, ingrained in our social fabric, is truly under the surface, is insidious in all spiritual traditions, all religions, and is the cause of so much of human conflict. This dogma goes against just about all spiritual traditions. All the prophets, the messengers, the sages, the great teachers of humankind throughout all cultures, all regions of the world, did not think in this dogmatic way. And even the true religions, the essence of each spiritual tradition, does not think in this way. We should be able to coexist. You believe different than me? That's okay. There are many ways to the top of the mountain. And if you are dogmatic yourself, or if you know of a dogmatic person who lives in this really closed-minded way, ask yourself this question. If you, the exact person you are, were born in a different culture, in a different time, in a different location, would you have the same beliefs you have today? Would you believe without a shred of doubt that your way is the truth and everyone else is wrong? No, you obviously wouldn't, because you would have a different upbringing. So obviously, the conditions in which you were brought up in determine your beliefs. Now, belief is a tricky topic, and I'll make a whole video probably going deeper into how your beliefs form and your web of beliefs and how they're central to your identity. But just as a little bit of an understanding of beliefs, why do you think that it is that a common phrase is, don't talk religion, politics with friends, because it will get heated, it will get emotional? This is because your religion, your politics are really towards the core of your web of beliefs. And your web of beliefs is your identity, is how you see yourself in the grander scheme of the world. And so when you're talking with a group of people about religion, politics, or any other of these sensitive topics, and someone maybe challenges you or maybe asks you to defend why you believe that way, your emotions will inevitably come up, because in essence, you see it as a threat to your very identity. You are a Christian, you are a Muslim, you are a conservative, you are a liberal, a Democrat, a Republican, you are this, you are that, you are white, you are black, you are brown, this is your identity. And whenever someone challenges your identity, you're going to become defensive. And the way that the human being becomes defensive is by getting your emotions involved. This is the nature of our beliefs. And so in terms of religion, we can look back in history, look at the Crusades, just for an example. This was the first thing that united Europe as a cohesive entity, right? Before that, they were just warring tribes of Germanic tribes that overtook the Roman Empire, the Franks, the Lombards, the Goths. All of a sudden, they used this oh, look at those Muslims, those heathens over in the Holy Land. We need to unite as Christian Europe and go and fight them. This was the first thing. This was weaponized dogma, which is just one example in history. We look at the Wahhabi movement of the Muslims. Sometime in the heat of European colonialism, the Wahhabis took over the Arabian Peninsula in their puritanical perspective of believing their interpretation of Islam was the only interpretation. And what did they do? They committed atrocities. They killed all the Sufis, all the Shias. Everyone who didn't believe that in their way was demonized, was killed. This is dogma weaponized. All religions have this aspect, truly believing that your way is the only way. And this justifies crazy acts of violence, crazy acts of killing. This is not part of any true spiritual path, any true esoteric application of spirituality. This is not the way, right? Christians who believe that their way is the only way, that through Jesus Christ is the only way. So what are you saying? That everyone else is doomed? You are the only one going to heaven, or you're the only one on the true path. Everyone else is wrong. Muslims who believe that their way is the only way. You believe everyone else is just SOL, is out of luck. People who believe Buddhist that the Buddha is the only way. No. Listen. Spirituality is definitely based in universal truths. And when you truly dive deep into it, all spiritual traditions, all religions are very common. On the surface, if you're looking at it superficially, you might say, no, they're different. Jews believe they're the chosen people. Christians believe it's only through Jesus Christ. Muslims believe it's just through Allah. Buddhists believe it's just through the Buddha. And Hindus have all kinds of crazy gods and all this. You're not truly being able to look at the spiritual texts and interpret it for yourself. You're just going based off of the superficial aspects of it. And this is where religion falters, is this tribal, fundamentalist, literal interpretation of these sacred texts. All religions, all traditions are guilty of this. But this is just closed-minded tribal ways of thinking. Any of you that are familiar with spiral dynamics, this is literally purple level of consciousness. This is not highly developed. This is literally base, animalistic, us versus them thoughts. You truly believe your way is the only way, everyone else is wrong? Well, guess what? There are millions and billions of other people that think the exact same way as you. And if you so happen to be born in their culture, in their time, you would be thinking the same as them. This has always boggled my mind. As a kid, I wondered, how could everyone believe that their way is the only way? As I said before, there are many ways to the top of the mountain. And to truly be tolerant, to truly be able to coexist with other people who believe in other things, who look different, who think different, this is the true sign of humans maturing into a bigger mindset, right? This is the key to evolution as a human species. Otherwise, we'll be stuck in this tribal mentality and we'll be killing each other till the end of time. And so if you find yourself being a religious person, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But do not be dogmatic, right? Don't be that person who believes their way is the only way and demonizes everybody else. This is not the true teachings of your tradition. For Islam, just for instance, in the Quran, it specifically says, "Lakum dinukum waliyo din." To you, your way, to me, mine. To you, your religion, and to me, mine. Remember, there is no compulsion in religion. If someone believes other than you, try to truly understand where they're coming from. Truly understand how they are conceptualizing God. Because all religions and spiritual traditions have this concept of something greater than our egos, greater than this materialistic world. For Hinduism, for instance, it's easy to look at Hinduism and say, oh, they have many gods, many crazy gods for all these crazy things. It's a pagan religion. But when you truly look deeper into it, with an open mind, truly trying to understand what their beliefs are, you come to realize that it's really just one expression of God, the unity of God through Brahman. And all these other gods and all these other goddesses and all these are just aspects of the one God that all religions believe. It's easy for Muslims especially to look at Christians and say, oh my God, that's not, they believe in the Holy Trinity, they believe a man is a God. That's their conceptualization of God. That doesn't mean it's wrong. That simply means that that's the way they conceptualize it. That's the way that they see God, is through the form of Jesus Christ. Hey, listen, that's the way they believe. If it works for them, if that allows them to bring some peace into their mind, that's okay. Now, there is absolutely no doubt that some spiritual traditions, some religions, probably land a little bit closer to the mark of universal truth. And for me, it's my belief that Islam does land a little bit closer, right? There's one God, the unity of existence. God is in all things. God is closer to you than your jugular vein. There is God, but he is omnipresent, infinite. And I do believe that. But that doesn't mean that everyone else is just doomed to hell, doomed to be living a lie. I believe that the only people that are truly deluded are people who have fully convinced themselves that the only thing that is real is this materialistic paradigm of existence. That the only thing that is real is what you can see, what you can taste, what you can feel, and everything else is a lie, everything else is a fairy tale. The atheists, the ones who truly don't believe in anything other than the fact that we are meat bags. They have to believe in the Big Bang, that something came from nothing. Now, again, I believe that we shouldn't demonize anyone's beliefs. You know, if you are atheist or have doubts, that's totally fine. We should have doubts. We should all have doubts. That's the mark of being human. However, there is no doubt that there is more to this existence than meets the eye. There is more than simply we are meat bags without any purpose in life. And once we die, that's it, and Big Bang and all this. Undoubtedly, and the more you travel down a specific spiritual path, the more you realize that there is more to life than just that. That's what I'm getting at. Do not be dogmatic. It is important that we choose a spiritual path, that we choose a way. But that doesn't mean that all the other ways are invalid, right? Maybe when you're a spiritual seeker, you try different paths, as I did. And then eventually you land on one that resonates with you the most. That doesn't mean you disregard all the other ones. Maybe you take some practices, take some mindsets of other practices into your own, right? For me, I resonate with Taoism and their way of looking at the chi of life, the energy of God in essence. And it doesn't necessarily contradict other religions, other spiritual paths. You just have to be smarter than that, to be able to read between the lines, to truly be able to interpret these religious messages and these prophets and these messengers in a way that is not dogmatic. Because dogma is the true enemy of humanity. This tribal mindset is the root of almost all wars and all conflicts. We need to transcend this. We need to evolve past this mode of consciousness. We can, as a human being, as a human species, coexist. We can. But we need to evolve past this tribalistic, us versus them, demonizing everyone else mentality. One more time, there are many ways to the top of the mountain. Find your way. Carve your path in existence. But lekum dinukum waliyodin. To you, your way. To me, mine.